the first thing I do is I got to try and keep an open mind, that an idea can come from anywhere, anything. And then you got to put your ego down. You can't have an ego, right? You really can't. Because the idea is the best ideas have to win. The best ideas have to get in your game, and who cares who comes up with it? The game is bigger than you. So the next thing I do is research. I'm going to dive into one of these things. And I'm always in research mode. I've got, I just have websites all over the place. I keep these websites. I keep tons and tons of photos. And I'm constantly going back to this stuff. I actually think it's a competitive advantage. At this point, I'm going to go so deep on research and so wide and so far that I'm hoping if I'm going against anybody else in the same kind of game, I'm going to go deeper than you. I'm going to find out more about this stuff than you will. But I want you guys to go far too, because I want to play your games that are going to be better than mine next time and push me to go further and further. So this is what I mean about digging deep. And this is just sort of on the big level of the game. But imagine if you did this sort of thing for every single thing in your game, which is what I try and do. If I'm going to look at mortars, or I'm going to look at tanks, or I'm going to look at space, whatever I'm going to do, no matter how big or how small, if it's important enough to get in your game, it's important enough to study it. We're making Dead Space. And we have these things called level scenarios, and they're just kind of like, well, what are we going to do in this part of the hallway or this room and everything? And my audio director, Don Beckett, comes to me. Don and I have been working together a long time. He's got more awards than anyone. And he's like, God, whenever I go into the BART train, there's this horrible sound as it's going under the water in the bay. And I'm like, oh man, record it, right? So next day he's out there recording it and hanging out there, and he comes back and I listen to it. I'm like, oh, that is so horribly terrible. It's great. There is nothing going on, no enemies, no danger, no nothing. Because we bookended it with no sound, you open the door and you go in and you just see people run through that, right? So we didn't do anything. We just arted it and put some sound and we got people scared. So for me, it's like look for inspiration anywhere, right? And it just doesn't mean, sites or anything. There's a lot of things you can do with audio. Obviously, we can't always have direct contact, so this stuff you all know, documentaries, movies, TVs. I go on Amazon all the time. I'm finding hidden movies that only IFC or independent companies are going to put out, or documentaries. It's documentaries on everything. I know that there's another generation that's going to fill in when we move up. We got a lot more people that we can embrace as gamers, but we're only going to do it by our ideas, our innovation, and our great technology. Right? We are the next medium to tell a fantastic story. We already have great, compelling characters. We have great gameplay. Once we start telling that story, we'll get there, right? We'll get there. So that's what's based on all of us, man. Go deep. Keep your mind open, because you're going to be really surprised what you let in when you do. I want to thank everybody for having me. Have a great, great DICE show. To me, this is a celebration of the video game industry, which I truly, truly love. So thank you very, very much.
Hey, I'm Miranda Cosgrove, and you're watching ENTV.
Hi, I'm Kevin Williamson, and you're watching ENTV.
Hello, I am Jennifer Goodwin, and you are watching ENTV.